All right. Hello again, adventurers, and welcome to another exciting daily vlog. This is Daily Vlog 2025, number 175. And today, we have got some pretty massive Daggerheart news. So we've been talking about virtual tabletops and all that nonsense recently, and one of the critiques of Daggerheart thus far has been that the only kind of online tools that exist for Daggerheart, that according to their version of the OGL, I can't remember what they call it, it's the only one that is allowed to exist, is the Demiplane Nexus. Now, I like Demiplane a lot. I have been using it for years, way back when Avatar Legends was kickstarted. Part of how I backed that Kickstarter gave me access to all the books that I had purchased. I had their digital equivalent on Demiplane, and I absolutely adore it. When I heard Daggerheart was coming to Demiplane, I was super thrilled about it, but there are some issues with it. Probably the biggest of which is basically how somewhat limited the Daggerheart Nexus can be if you don't actually own Daggerheart. Well, the announcement today changes that. It was announced a few hours ago that the Daggerheart SRD, the Systems Reference Document, is now available in the, I think it's the Compendium or something, on the Daggerheart Nexus. And my understanding of it is that means it's 100% free. Now, for those of you that don't know what the SRD is basically the quote-unquote free version of Daggerheart. You don't have to pay anything for it, and effectively it contains almost everything that's in the core book, minus all of the artwork. There's no artwork in it whatsoever. All but one of the campaign frames are not included in it. And there's a couple chapters, like there's a section on how to be a better player and a section on how to be a better GM. Those are not included either. But for the most part, the rest of the book is. That includes all the classes, subclasses, and all the domain cards. And all the equipment, literally everything. So that means that even if you don't purchase Daggerheart, you can still access... you can still access all of the materials on Demiplane for free. Now, as far as how they interact with the character builder, I haven't the foggiest idea. I tried to figure it out. Unfortunately, I own Daggerheart on Demiplane, and because of that, I actually can't see what's available to people that don't own it unless I create a completely separate account that I really don't want to have to mess around with. So if anyone in the audience wants to do some research for the channel and put your findings in there, if you do not own Daggerheart and it hasn't been shared with you, go to the Daggerheart Nexus, try building a character and see if you actually have character options, or if you can only use the pre-made characters. Because I think everyone can use a pre-made character, but in order to use any of the character options in the character builder, you have to actually own them or have them shared with you. Because Demiplane does have a thing similar to... wow, brain just left. Similar to D&D Beyond, where you can actually share materials with other people. The big difference is on D&D Beyond, They basically have to be in a campaign with you, which is limited to 12 people in a campaign, and I think you can share up to 4 campaigns. So a grand total of 48 people that you can share this stuff with, and that only exists as long as they are in a campaign with you. And that requires the master tier subscription to do that. For Demiplane, there's only one subscription. I have no idea how much it costs because due to the fact that I have a sub through Roll20, I get that subscription for free, and it just lets you share with up to 25 people. They don't have to be in a campaign or a group or anything with you. And you can change who's in that share group really easily and really fast. So I actually really enjoy it. All of the people that play in my Daggerheart games thus far, including the one I'm running tonight in a few hours, I share the material with them, and it's worked perfectly. So, like I said, if somebody that doesn't own Daggerheart on Demiplane wants to go to the website and try building a Daggerheart character and see if you have access to all the different options or not, I would really be appreciative. And if you want to put that in the comments down below, it'd be really nice to see if this kind of opens up basically the base version of Daggerheart to everybody. Because again, one of the quote-unquote issues with running Daggerheart on Roll20 is the only way to have a character sheet on Roll20 is to link it to a Demiplane character. So if you don't have access to the Demiplane character creator, you can't actually have a character in your Roll20 game. It just doesn't work that way right now. I have no idea if they're planning on introducing their own Roll20 version of the character sheet or not, but as of right now, you have to have Demiplane to do it. So if that is what it means for the SRD, then that's a really big deal. And if it's not, if it just means that you can actually just look at all the information on there, that's perfectly fine too. There are, I believe there are form fillable PDFs, and if not, you can use paper sheets, and it still means that you can play Daggerheart without having to pay anything, which I think is the biggest thing. The other big announcement that happened is The Void. The Void is basically Unearthed Arcana for Daggerheart. If you're not familiar with Unearthed Arcana is basically where Wizards of the Coast puts all of their playtest materials before they put them into real books. And a lot of the stuff that shows up in Unearthed Arcana eventually shows up in a book. Not all of it, but a lot of it. So it's a really cool way to get an idea of what's coming and to be able to provide feedback and stuff like that. The Void is Daggerheart's version of that. And like a few weeks ago, maybe longer than that, I don't know. Time doesn't work for me. They released 2 new classes to the Void. The Warlock and what used to be called the Fighter. Now, the Warlock actually also introduced a new domain. It was called the Dread domain, or a domain of dread for you Ravenloft fans. And it was an interesting... It's an interesting, Warlock class. You make a pact, you have to deal with that. I looked it over. I've never been a massive fan of Warlocks in general. I don't think they're bad or anything like that. It's just never been a class that's like, oh, I really want to play that. But it was okay. The Fighter, on the other hand, or maybe it was the Warrior, I can't remember. Anyway, it's not what it's called anymore. That's a monk. I was super thrilled with that. But the one thing that kind of annoyed me was the Void stuff was exclusively on the Daggerheart Void website. There wasn't any way for you to create characters in the Demiplane character builder, which I really like. The Demiplane character builder is phenomenally good. And people have been asking Demiplane for a while, hey, can we get the Void stuff? Can we get the Void stuff? And the response thus far has been, that's up to Darrington Press. They get to choose what we can put on Demiplane and what we can't. So you need to ask them. Well, it was announced today, the Void stuff not only is coming to Demiplane, some of it is already there. So both the Warlock and now they changed the name to the Brawler are live on on the Daggerheart Demiplane. I have already built my first Brawler. I love them. They're a martial artist. They're a fairy. They're amazing. And I want to play that character so bad. The Warlock's there too. Now, in addition to that, Daggerheart actually introduced two new classes. They have the Witch class and the Assassin class. The Witch class uses the New Dread domain and Sage, which is a domain that already exists. And the Assassin class uses both Midnight and Blade. I have not looked over either of these two classes, but Daggerheart's been out for what, like a month? Barely, a little over a month, and they have already added 4 new classes in for playtesting. That's a really big deal. And then in addition to that, they also added 6 new ancestries. Aetheris, Earthkin, Emberkin, Skykin, Tidekin, and Gnome. I'm going to assume the Earth, Ember, Sky, and Tidekin, those are Genasi. If you're not familiar with the term Genasi, Genasi are basically elemental humans. You had Fire Genasi, Water Genasi. They're basically humans that also have elements in them. You know, somebody got a little bit frisky with a mountain and boom, Earth Genasi is born. I don't know what Aetheris, and obviously we know what a gnome is. And then 6 new communities: Duneborn, Freeborn, Frostborn, Hearthborn, Reborn, and Warborn. So they added a bunch of new ancestries and communities, 2 new classes. However, the stuff that was just introduced, the new ancestries and the 2 new classes, are not in the Demiplane Nexus yet. But both the Warlock class, which is the updated version of the Warlock class, and the updated version of the now Brawler class are live on the Demiplane Nexus right now. They're super cool. And they mentioned that they are working on bringing both the Witch and the Assassin's class as quickly as possible. So as far as I can tell, it seems like Darrington has said, okay, anything that we put on the Void is now fair game for you to put on Demiplane. I don't have that in writing anywhere. This is just what I'm reading from the various announcements that I've read, but that is a really big deal. And it kind of tracks because the other playtests, or at least, the other playtests that they did, you could build your characters on Demiplane. Like, I still have my playtest character that I built on my account, and I'm never deleting it because it was my first Daggerheart character. So the idea of putting their playtest material on Demiplane just makes sense. Running things on Demiplane is so incredibly easy. I built my Brawler character on my phone because while there isn't an app for Demiplane, the Demiplane website is 100% compatible with phones, with tablets, with whatever you want to use it for. Like I said, I built my character. You can run your character directly from your phone. It works exceptionally well. Having all that stuff available on your phone as opposed to exclusively on a website or something, I think is a really awesome thing. And just seeing, one of the things that they mentioned specifically when they were talking about the Brawler class. The Brawler class doesn't introduce any new domains. It just pairs up 2 domains that hadn't been paired up before. It uses Bone and Valor. And by just pairing two domains that haven't been paired together before and adding a couple features to the class itself, you have a completely new experience. And the brawler, despite the fact that again it's using abilities that already exist, there are already two different classes that use bone, there are already two different classes that use valor. So it's not like they're getting that many new abilities. Their subclasses have new abilities. And the classes themselves have a few new features, but that's it. But because of those little new features and the subclasses, you have completely different characters. And just by introducing one new domain, the Dread domain for the Warlock, we now have the Warlock, obviously, which is Dread and Grace, which already exists. And then they also created a Witch class, which is Dread and Sage, which is looking to be kind of like a corrupted Druid style class, which sounds kind of interesting, like the description of it. Magical practitioners who commune with the forces of nature and entities from realms beyond. Witches call forth their power through craft, rituals, incantations, herbs, stones, candles, and other tools to enact their will and conjure powerful spells. So definitely like a caster class, but much more like a darker druid style character. Then the assassin is exactly what it sounds like. But very similar to how like with Fabula Ultima, if you introduce one new class, that's not just introducing one new character you can make, it's introducing countless new characters that you can make, because now you have access to these combinations and synergies that didn't exist before. There is a multi-classing aspect of Daggerheart. Like you can multi-class, but you have to be minimum of, is it tier 2 to multi-class or tier 3? You can't do it at first level. Let's just leave it that. So having the ability to start at level 1 with two domains that don't normally go together, like that really does change how things work. And for people that are creating their own classes and things like that, it's significantly more simple to create them than something like D&D 5th edition, where if you want to create a new class in 5th edition and actually adhere to the design philosophy of it, the new class has to play completely differently than every other class that already exists right from the beginning. You should have all your defining features in the class by 2nd level. So designing a completely new class for 5th edition D&D actually takes a lot of work. I should know I've done it twice. So creating new classes for Daggerheart, I think, are going to be significantly more simple. And the amount of new content I think we're going to be seeing from Daggerheart, I think is going to be, from Darrington Press, I mean, I think is going to be massive. Like I said, in a month, just a month, roughly, they have released 4 classes. 2 of those are on their first revision. That's a lot of stuff to happen in the month that you launched, because launching any new product, but especially a tabletop RPG, there's going to be a lot of stuff that you have to deal with. Misprints, poorly defined rules, creating errata for things that you didn't think about. So the fact that in addition to dealing with that stuff, they have also created 4 new classes is really, really big. Like, it's amazing to say the least, of all the cool stuff that they've done. Yeah, I'm super excited about this. Like I said, I've already built my little fairy monk, and I love them. They're amazing. The little fairy, and then they punch people. And brawlers, like at level 1 with their unarmed strike, the unarmed strike, you can choose what you can choose what attribute you use for your attacks. But for my character specifically, instinct is what I wanted because for their subclass, instinct helps them. I choose martial artist, and they have different stances they can shift through. Well, in order to be able to get the resource they need for those, you need instinct. So I have instinct as my attack stat, and then the damage that they do is a D10 plus a D6 based on your proficiency. So every time your proficiency goes up, you add an additional D10 and additional D6. So at like level 2, you are doing 2d10 plus 2d6 damage with one attack. They hit hard. It's super cool. Now, it does mean that they can't use weapons, and a lot of the weapons get some pretty interesting, unique aspects to them, especially once you get to the tier 3 and tier 4 weapons. So I'm assuming that's why they hit so freaking hard. But at low levels, like, they're nice. I really like it. So, anyway, interested to hear from you guys. I will have a link to the Daggerheart Nexus in the comments. Like I said, if you do not already own Daggerheart, head over there, try and build a character, and see if the SRD options are in the character builder, or if it's just, you know, in the compendium or whatever they could call it. Because if it's in the character builder, that's a massive deal. Like, that would be amazing. Yeah. Otherwise, and then what are you guys' thoughts on the updated Warlock, the updated Brawler, which is a much better name than it was before, and the Assassin and the Witch? Do you guys have opinions on that? Do you like the new ancestries and things like that? All that stuff in the comments down below. Otherwise, again, it's going to be all for me today. I'm going to see you guys next time. All right? Bye-bye.